In this video, we are going to build a model, compile, load, and execute it on a target. Then, we will review the RTLab execution modes. Starting from the PID example model used previously, we must ensure that the model can run offline in Simulink. If a model cannot run offline, RTLab will not be able to compile it. Before diving further into the compilation process, let's take a step back and discuss why we need to compile a model at all. Simulink software is designed for use in Windows, while OpalRT targets run a Linux-based operating system. This is because Linux provides a lighter environment than Windows and is easier to tune for real-time applications. Windows, on the other hand, does not offer such low-level flexibility and runs too many background processes to respect real-time constraints. Therefore, to take advantage of the user-friendliness of Simulink while also respecting real-time constraints, we must work with the two environments and be able to convert between them. This is done in two steps. First, the Simulink model is converted into C code by the Simulink coder. Second, the C code is converted into Linux executables by the computer on the target. Since step 2 occurs on the target, it is mandatory to have access to the target or a virtual machine to complete the compilation process. Back in RTLab, the complete workflow is shown in the Overview tab. We must first select the target platform. As explained before, Windows can be selected as a platform, but it will not respect real-time constraints. The x86 platform is based on a Linux distribution called Red Hat, whereas the x64 is based on the Yocto project from Linux. The newest distribution is called OpalRT Linux 3, and all new simulators are equipped with this version. The information is target-specific and can be found in your system description document or in the Diagnostic tab on the target in RTLab. The second step is to build the model. Note that the terms build and compile are used synonymously, and they encompass all the steps necessary to convert the Simulink model into Linux executables. A more detailed description of the parts of the build process can be viewed using the Build Configurations option. In the first two parts, the Simulink model is converted into C code, while the last four parts convert the C code into a Linux executable. Once the build is complete, we must select the execution mode. In simulation mode, the model runs as fast as possible. Note that this mode does not execute the model in real time. Rather, it makes use of the target as a powerful computing machine for when the model is running too slowly on Windows. If we select simulation with low priority, the model is also executed as fast as possible. This mode is intended for simulations in Windows and is not commonly used. The two modes allowing for real-time execution are software synchronized and hardware synchronized. The difference between these two modes is the source of the clock that generates the fixed step time intervals required for real-time simulation. In hardware synchronized mode, the clock is generated by the FPGA. All simulations using the FPGA, such as those configured to use analog and digital I/O channels, or FPGA-based solvers, are required to use hardware synchronization. If no FPGA is used in the simulation, software synchronized mode must be selected, and the clock is generated by the motherboard. Our simple PID example is a model in the loop executing only the real-time CPU, with no external I/O connections. Therefore, we should select software synchronized mode. When using real-time modes, it is recommended to enable the Extra High Performance (XHP) option under the Assignment tab. This is strongly recommended when the simulation time step is less than 100 microseconds. The XHP setting shields the CPU cores from other processes and reserves them for the model's subsystem. It greatly reduces jitter and the CPU usage of the simulation. This image shows the results of a simulation without XHP, where the execution time varies by up to 8 microseconds. When XHP is enabled, the jitter is reduced to 0.02 microseconds. Some specific cases may require the XHP option to be disabled, but these are outside the scope of this introductory course. Now we have built the model, assigned targets to subsystems, and set the execution properties. We can proceed and load the model. At this stage, RTLab launches the user interface, uploads the executable file to the target, and allocates cores and memory. Once the model is loaded, we can click Execute to run the model in real time on the target. In the Simulink console, the reference slider allows us to manipulate the PID controller setpoint. The corresponding response signal of the plant can be viewed in the plant response scope. To stop the model, always click the Reset button in the Quick Access Shortcuts or Overview tab of RTLab. Stopping the simulation in the Simulink console does not reset the model on the target. Let's rerun this model in simulation mode to see it running as fast as possible. Note that it is not necessary to recompile our model because no changes have been made to the Simulink code. We can load, execute, and reset our model as often as we want. Once again, in the Simulink console, we can adjust the reference and observe the plant response. Notice that we barely have time to see the refresh because the simulation is running as fast as possible. There is no CPU idle time between each step.